northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome to Community Centered, a show that features people in the community doing good things. Now, here are your hosts, Debbie O'Handley and Margi Kyle.
Welcome, welcome.
Happy Tuesday.
Oh, you beat me to it, Margie. Must be the spring is in the air.
Oh, isn't it beautiful
It's
out?
so lovely out.
Except I'm so tired of sneezing.
You know what? You and everybody else. I think the noses are full and eyes are itching and all that good stuff, and our cars are starting to turn green.
Yeah, already.
My black car is turning green. So that is welcome to North Carolina and springtime. Nothing to complain about here, though, right?
No.
Days are longer. We've had the turn back the clock or turn
That's
off the
right.
clocks on Sunday.
Yes.
That was crazy.
I wish they'd just leave that alone.
You know, some parts of the country are doing that, and I think that's brilliant. I love a 7 o'clock sunset or past 7 o'clock.
Well, see, I can't drive anymore at night.
I know, me too. Well, I can, but it gets progressively more difficult.
So
but
this is wonderful to be able to be out.
it's a good wind down for me when the sun stays
Yes.
out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do too.
Stretch my days a little.
I
So
get
what?
to sleep a little bit longer in the morning.
I know what's going on with Margie.
Well, I'm coming to help you with color today, and I
Isn't
can't
that
wait.
exciting?
Yeah.
So we are in the third phase of our building project. We are building Journey and Courage, and they're off-site. So when they built the cottages on-site, I was there every day. I could see the progress. So having this off-site
Okay.
is a little
I
more
better
of a
follow
challenge.
you.
Yeah, a little more of a challenge. They're behind Hopewell High School.
Okay.
Yeah. And now, Justin had promised me that this build was going to be fun because the last one was not. So now it's fun to go there and say, holy mackerel, you have the roof on and the walls are up. And oh my goodness. And now you better pick some house colors out. So I am leaning into my good friend Margie, the designing doctor,
Absolutely.
to help advise me on what a home called Journey should look like. And a
Well,
home
I
called
think the
Courage.
last time we were at one of the little cottages
Mhm.
chatting,
Mhm.
we both said, I could live in one of these.
Yeah, and actually these builds are 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They're 11. They're
Wow.
homes, not cottages.
Okay.
So a lot bigger, a very interesting, unique design. We worked with Nicole Perry Architect in Davidson, and they're designed after NODA, the rail cars that originally in the 1930s and 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, which were our first workforce development housing. So these are really lovely. The property is amazing. I'm excited for you to see it. And
Oh, I can't wait.
I know when we step into the interior, you're going to be there to help me too, because I need to lean on my friends in times like this for sure. I asked Justin yesterday if he would help me pick out colors. He said, well, I'll give it to the kids and let them pick pink
Oh,
and
no,
purple.
thank you.
Thanks, Justin. That was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of thought went into that.
Yeah, so Courage is dedicated to a female veteran. So
Okay.
be thinking about that, the interior as well as the exterior. And Journey is sponsored by DCPC Church. So just think of the word journey and what your life is about and happy colors and what a
Yes.
journey would look
Yeah.
like. So excited to get that done. And I know after the show, you're going to be helping me. So I am delighted for our guest today. I'm excited to hear her story, to hear her impact in the community, to know what she's doing. These are sometimes challenging conversations to have, but so important. So important in today's world.
And I met Debbie Dalton probably 6 or 7 years ago at a nonprofit meeting.
Hmm.
And my heart just went out to her
Hmm.
and her husband
Hmm.
and the story they have to tell. I don't know how they stand up and do what they do, but they are saving lives one at a time. And very important journey. I'll wait till we introduce her. I want to tell a beautiful story that she shared with me the other day when we were getting organized to be on the show today.
That's exciting. The word grief is an action word. It's something that we never get over. We go around it. And some folks have this great um, amazing advocacy that they can do with grief, and they can turn it into an action word, and they
Yeah.
do something with it. And I think that we're going to hear that today on the show of what one magnificent family is doing with theirs, and
Yes.
how they're
Yeah.
changing and saving lives because of it.
Well, and they had an amazing young man.
Mm.
The more I learn about Hunter, the more I wished I could have known him,
Mm.
because just his energy still is there for
And
those who, and I know Debbie will give out the website so people can go and listen and really feel what this family has been through.
absolutely, this
Yeah.
is such a vulnerable thing
Yeah.
that they're doing, and I applaud them so well. And what a small world to walk in here today to know that Bill, the station manager
know.
here, had knew something of them. So I'm sure that there
Well,
are
and I would
listeners.
have business cards made yesterday at Lake Norman Printing, and he said, "Who's on your radio show tomorrow?" Because they watch us.
Yes, he does. That would be Ron Gamilla. Thanks, Ron. Shout out, Ron. Way to represent.
And I told him, I said, Heather or Debbie Dalton,
Mhm.
and he went, "Oh my God!" And she comes here all the time, and we just love doing and working with her.
So
and-
just so there's no confusion with my family, my name is Debbie, and we are from Dalton. So don't think that's about me. That it is not about me. But yes, Ron Gamilla with Lake Norman Graphics and Printing. I know they have a new location.
they have moved. I went to
Yes.
their old one, and I went, "What happened?"
Yep, they moved. They're going to put a jug handle there. They're knocking out all those buildings over there, so there can be a truck turnaround off of 73.
Oh, we need that.
So
I
Ron,
guess.
yeah, Ron got out while the getting was good, and he's doing a fabulous job. I know he's a board member at Hope House. He's also on the Rotary that helps support us at the Wine
And
Spectacular.
he's probably another guest we should have on, because he certainly is community centered.
He is an amazing individual, and comes from a very big family of 8 children. Their father just passed away a few weeks ago. He was
Yes.
in his late 90s, and he left quite a legacy for them. So
And next week we've got Susan Tillis coming on with her
Fabulous.
foundation. So
we are on fire, my friend. No wonder it's smoking in here. 'Cause it's what we're doing. But we callers, if you want to call in at 844 Studio 4, we'd love to take your call. I think we have someone calling in about something that's going to be happening on Sunday, so we'll take that call probably after the break. But just to remind you, we're streaming live on WSICnews.com and all of your social media outlooks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, and there's probably another one that we don't know about because I'm not as plugged in as I should be. But definitely, you can always watch us recorded on those places as well. So when we come back from our break, you are going to introduce the lovely Debbie Dalton
am.
and her story. I hope our listeners are buckled in and ready to be educated and to learn some things about their community and an amazing individual
that's right.
in our community. And we're excited to hear that story. And when we come back,
Here comes the music.
Margie will be taking over. Thanks so much.
Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Now, maybe you're super happy about this. Forecasting our warmest week of the year so far, and a couple of dry days too. Maybe the yard won't be so soggy. A mostly sunny day of weather as temperatures climb up to around 70 this afternoon. We'll drop it back into the mid-40s with a mostly clear sky overnight and gradually warming up little by little, day by day. Mid-70s tomorrow, even close to 80 by the time we get to Thursday. And no rain in the forecast until Friday evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Happy St. Patty's Day! Plenty of fun and adventure happening around the entire area this weekend. Downtown Cornelius, downtown Mooresville, DeVos Vineyards in Troutman, and so much more. As always, we hope you have a fun and safe time celebrating. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts. Pottery for Teens, Paint, 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 Broadway Through the Ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Hey, coin collectors! This is your weekend too. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show at the Statesville Civic Center is this weekend, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. This Saturday, Eagle Rentals in Statesville is having their Customer Appreciation Day. Come out to Eagle Rentals from noon until 4 p.m. and enjoy some time that is sure to be fun for the whole family. 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day, this Saturday. MerleFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Community Centered continues now. Here are your hosts, Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to WSIC. I know we have a caller, and we'll get to you in just 1 minute. We also are going to introduce Hunter Dalton's mom, Debbie, and you will absolutely love her as well. But let's get the caller because he's been waiting for a bit. Are you there, caller?
I am. Good afternoon, Margie and Debbie. How are you guys?
Hey,
We're
John.
good.
How are you? Good to hear your voice.
You as well. It's a beautiful day out, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it up to now. So
It is a beautiful day in the
excited to
neighborhood.
kind of tell you about what we got going on this weekend.
Well, true confession, can I talk about your Facebook post about your daughter chasing the chickens in the yard, asking them to come back, chickens, come back, chickens?
I was so excited I got that on camera, and just hearing her voice, it is hilarious. I've gotten a lot of people comment on that.
You're doing a good job being a dad. And so tell us, what good deed are you doing in your community this weekend?
Yeah, so it's actually not just me. So Debbie, you and Margie both are familiar with it. So we, Happy Hour Huntersville Rotary Group, we partner every year and host an event called Lake Norman Men That Cook. This year we have the privilege of hosting it at the Langtree venues. And essentially it's going to be 15 teams that are cooking all sorts of food. I am actually one of the cooks. I'll be cooking over 100 pounds of barbecue. And I have the privilege, actually, of representing you, Debbie. Also, a lot of pressure. So,
Sorry.
to cook for the Hope House, and we have another cook as well cooking for Margie. So, we got a little bit of competition there because it is all going to charity. But
No, we are not competition. We work together.
That's awesome. I'm delighted.
Exactly.
I'm delighted you guys are going to be back at Langtree, the venues, because last year there was
they remodeled it, and it is beautiful.
That's awesome. So when is that?
Yeah, it's this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
So you can show up pretty much any time in between there. You can purchase tickets at the door, or you can go online and pre-purchase them.
And that address
we will
is...
have 2 bartenders as well.
Oh.
It is St. Patty's Day.
Oh, okay, okay. What's the address to the venues at Langtree? Do you know?
Yeah, I do. That address is going to be 554 Langtree Road in Mooresville, North Carolina, 28117.
So you heard that here, folks. It's the Lake Norman Men That Cook, sponsored by the Huntersville Happy Hour Rotary. John O'Brien will be cooking for the Hope House. Thank you, John. That is amazing. What does 100 pounds of barbecue look like?
It's a lot of meat. So,
That's a
I'm going to be
big...
picking it up on Friday. So it's going to I'm going to have to cook it through all day Saturday and probably through the night Saturday night to have it ready to go.
That is so awesome. Well, we thank you so much for helping us make hope happen. I know that Margie said it's not a competition, it's all in good fun. It's something that is always well
Absolutely.
attended. You raise a lot of money. The Huntersville Happy Hour Rotary, you are amazing folks for doing this for our community. Come on out on Sunday between 11 to 2 at the venues at Langtree. And John, good luck.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And if you can't make it, we do have some raffles as well. Feel free. We're giving away a brand new grill valued over $400, as well as we have a cooler full of cheer. So you can check that out online. I put it on my website as well. If you need the link, you can go to my website, o'brienhomeloans.com, or you can go to lakenormanmidnightcook.info.
Do you know my husband will be very happy about that because he won it last year, the Yeti cooler.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we were in the Harris Teeter when he got the phone call that he won, and it was like we were storming the beaches of Normandy. We had to run back to pick it up. So that was awesome. Thank you for all that you do, John, and good luck.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you guys, and you guys have a great rest of the show.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, it is
Bye-bye.
my honor to welcome Debbie Hunt Dalton to our show. And I'm going to let Debbie tell her story in a minute. But I heard the most beautiful story from you the other day when we were talking about coming on the show. Debbie and her husband lost Hunter. He would have been 31 years old this week on Saturday.
Past Saturday, yes.
Yeah. But you were telling me you were cleaning out his room after he had passed, and you found his bucket list.
Well, it was actually kind of serendipitously. It was 8 months after we lost him, and I'd been in his room several times, and I just opened a drawer, and there it was a day I needed a sign from him for sure.
It
And
was
there
meant to happen.
There in the back of the drawer was this piece of paper we'd never seen, and it was his bucket list.
Well, I can remember with my husband getting him to sit down to write out his bucket list at 84. But your kids, you don't expect anything like that.
Right, right. We
And
were very surprised.
What was the top one?
Save someone's life.
And
Save
so
someone's
you
life.
read that, and after he had already gone,
Yes.
that probably started your journey.
Our journey actually started in the hospital room as I held his hand for 7 days.
Oh,
Yeah, we were so shocked. That's not even a strong enough word, quite honestly. Shocked, shattered, shocked by what happened. And for those 7 days, we thought about what can we do? How did this happen to us,
yeah.
first of all? And how can we make it where it doesn't happen to somebody else?
Mm.
And that's all Hunter's legacy of love. You know, we give all the credit to Hunter because he pushed us at a
Yeah.
time when I quite honestly just wanted to curl up in a ball and not do anything.
Well, totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess I should share what happened with Hunter since
Yeah,
we've...
because, I mean, today people know about fentanyl, but we didn't.
No, I had never heard the word before. More importantly, Hunter hadn't.
Yeah.
And, knowledge is power. And Hunter had been home that Thanksgiving weekend. We'd had a great weekend. He'd graduated college. He just landed a really good job in Raleigh. And that Sunday after Thanksgiving, I gave him a big hug. I love you, son. He texted me that night, home safe, Mom. I love you so much. And the next night, I was writing Christmas cards. And I started to sign the first card, and I signed my husband's name and my name, and I started to put Hunter's name, and then I remember thinking, well, wait a minute, he's technically moved out. Do I still put his name? And I just got a big old smile on my face, and I thought, it's always been Randy, Debbie, and Hunter.
Yeah.
And at that second, my phone rang, and my world changed forever.
Oh, my God.
And when I heard it was his roommate on the phone, I knew something bad had happened.
Yeah.
But I was never prepared for what came next. And honestly, we got out of our house in a minute, raced to Raleigh, and they were very optimistic. Hunter was 6'3", strong young man, worked out.
Very athletic.
Very athletic, had always been in sports. And when we even got to the hospital, the doctor, he was so strong they were able to revive him. But when we got to the hospital, they were optimistic, but then as each day passed, the news got worse. And what we found out was that weekend when Hunter was home, he'd gotten a recreational drug from a very good friend. And that's an important part of the story for listeners to know, and joked about it with his roommate. Like, I'm 23, I don't need to be messing with this stuff, kind of laughed it off. But what's a guy to do? It was given to me. And snorted a line, maybe two at the most, was in his room a couple of minutes. And unbeknownst to his friend or him, it was laced with fentanyl. And it gave my 6'3" son a heart attack.
Oh, my God.
And like I said, Hunter, if he were here, would own that he made a bad decision. But he made a decision not knowing the potential outcome.
That's right. That's right.
That would be like you come into my house for a glass of wine and I put cyanide in it.
Mm-hmm.
What the kids are getting today, what they think they're getting is not what they're getting.
Yeah.
And again, as we held his hand in the hospital, Hunter always said, his name's Hunter Dalton, but he always used to say, if anybody asked him, how you doing? What are you up to today? I'm just living the HD life, man.
I love that.
And it just meant a life of adventure and happiest person I've ever known in my life. I am not embellishing. I know everybody brags about their kids, but Hunter had a gift. He made everybody he met feel special, feel like they were the most important person in the room. And his legacy of love is, again, what pushed us forward to do something like how...
Well, he never met a stranger.
Never. We had so many people that 7 days we were at the hospital that came that the nurse that was helping us told us that in their nurses meeting, they asked if there was a celebrity in her room. And one lady came up to me and she said she met Hunter for 10 minutes on a golf course at Birkdale, locally, and had heard what happened and drove the 3 hours to Raleigh. That's the kind of impact Hunter made on people.
Well, and his claim to fame was that he beat
Steph Curry in a free throw. Yeah, Hunter pretty much, hi, I'm Hunter Dalton, in case you didn't know. I beat Steph Curry at a free throw competition at Davidson McKillop camp. He just had so many ties to this community. He went to school at CMS schools. Ultimately, he graduated UNC Charlotte. Hunter was living the life. Everything in his world, all the decisions he made were right, except for the decision to think
that one night, yes.
Well, and to think that there's such a thing as recreational drugs, which there are not. Yeah. And that's what parents need to know. The generic drugs are bad for you conversation is no longer relevant. Okay. You have to be specific. It's no longer that the drugs are bad for you. It is the drugs will kill you or lead to a life of addiction.
Wow, that is so scary.
It's very scary. It, like I said, it should, and the fact that it's happening to people younger and younger. We're talking 12-year-olds. There was an 800% increase in fatalities last year from the ages of 12 to 18. 800%. So, parents need to start early.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a break in a few minutes, but I hope you will give everybody your website.
Absolutely.
How they can help, where you can help them by maybe helping other children realize the danger of what's going on. So we will be right back. Stay with us.
Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle will return after this short break on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the water is still chilly, of course, but this kind of weather makes you ready for lake season, doesn't it? It'll be here soon enough. Continuing on our warmest week of the year so far as we continue warming up through the rest of the week. Overnight, a clear sky and a cool night on the way as we dip down into the low 40s. Outlying spots and farms may see upper 30s in a few spots. Warming into the mid-70s tomorrow, closer to 80 as we get into our Thursday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture your perfect KFC meal. Then, picture the perfect price. You're thinking of the $20 taste of KFC meal. Everything you love about KFC in one meal. 6 pieces of original recipe chicken. 4 sides, including creamy mashed potatoes and gravy, sweet corn, fresh coleslaw, and cheesy mac and cheese. And don't forget 4 flaky biscuits. The $20 taste of KFC meal. All your favorites for just $20. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The feds are cracking down on claims about being made in the USA. The Department of Agriculture announcing a new requirement for meat, poultry, and egg producers. They can only use the Made in the USA label on their products if the animals they come from are born, raised, slaughtered, and processed in the U.S. Inflation rose by more than forecast last month on higher prices for housing, airfares, gasoline, clothing, and used cars. On an annual basis, overall prices up 3.2% from a year ago. On Wall Street, though, investors feel that may not be enough to make the Federal Reserve change course on its plans to cut interest rates later this year. So stocks are higher. The Dow up 0.75%, the S&P 1% higher, and the Nasdaq up nearly 1.5%. And Kohl's striking a deal with the owner of the Babies R Us brand to put stores within stores and sell more strollers, cribs, and other baby items at hundreds of Kohl's stores by this fall. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Community Centered continues now. Here are your hosts, Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. We're so thrilled that you're with us. If you have a question for any of us here today, please call 844-STUDIO-4. We are with Debbie, Dalton, talking about the HD life.
Yes.
And I think if I have ever heard of a child that had it all together, it was Hunter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Living the life for sure.
Living the life and being proud of it.
Yes.
And talking about it.
Yes.
What's your website?
Our website is thehdlife.org.
Okay.
And, you know, when this happened, as I was talking about, and we were in the hospital and we knew we wanted to do something, we didn't know what direction necessarily that would take us initially. But one of Hunter's really good friends, Johnny Stapleton, wrote a song, The HD Life.
Oh.
And it's in the hip-hop genre. And when I heard it, after the millionth time of sobbing through it, my family, my husband and I made the decision to produce a music video. And in that music video, we reenact everything that happened, starting with the phone call that we got.
Wow.
And had the video produced. Once that was done, we then made a presentation that I'm very proud of. It's a very powerful presentation. And then that's when the decision was made that we would go into schools and into businesses and talk to
Yes.
anybody that'll listen to us.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody that's listening to go to our website for sure. And under our website, under our story, the HD Life video is there. It's also on YouTube. It's actually gotten a lot of views on YouTube. But it's a powerful and relatable way for young people, and that is certainly the feedback. We go into middle school and high schools. Presentation's a little heavy for elementary schools, but that message still needs to be told in elementary schools. And
Yeah.
actually, my sister and I are working now on something that would be appropriate for elementary schools.
Okay.
But what listeners can do is, first of all, share Hunter's story. You don't know who needs to hear it. But also, if you've got connections, if it's not me, somebody like me needs to be in every CMS school, every middle school and high school sharing this story. And I will say, kids as a rule, I've love our police and I have worked with them, but I will say that kids relate more to a personal story. I think that's
Yes.
just kind of common
Yeah,
sense,
that's right.
And they relate to Hunter. I was
Yeah.
telling you and Debbie that a lot of the feedback, I've got letters and letters from students, and one of the main themes throughout all of these letters is I feel like Hunter would have been my best friend.
Yeah.
And so they relate to him.
Yeah.
And, knowledge is power. And just saying that drugs are bad for you doesn't work anymore. The drugs
No.
that are out there are all chemically based, and there's people that hadn't gotten through the first grade mixing these drugs. And it's not just what a lot of people listening might think of that would be laced with fentanyl. We're talking Percocet, Xanax, Adderall. And it's so easy for somebody to naively, who's not even interested in drugs, maybe take one of those. I had a mom reach out to me. Her daughter was in college, never done drugs, wasn't a big drinker, but she had a big exam she was stressing about. And a good friend, remember that's what happened with Hunter, gave her a Xanax that she'd gotten from a friend, that they'd gotten from a friend. And they know that the young lady took a half a Xanax because the other half was on her nightstand and there was no Xanax in the pill. It was all fentanyl.
Oh,
and so she died.
Oh, that just tears you apart.
It's so
Heartbreaking.
senseless. It's so senseless.
Yeah.
And being repeated. We're losing 8 people a day in North Carolina to fentanyl. The statistics, like I said, should just scare everybody to death and make everybody, give them a push for a cause to action.
That's right.
Use your power, whether it's, again, to talk to your school administrators, to get somebody in there talking, to get naloxone or Narcan into the schools. When you think about if something like this does happen, that just a simple nasal spray could have saved my son's life.
Wow.
Had we known.
Had we known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know at Hope House we have a grant with the ABC board, and there's another one coming up. And we wrote to have a curriculum at Hope House called "Say No to Drugs," that starts with pre-K advocacy and education. It's
Awesome.
very expensive, and I'm wondering why we're even paying for it. Like, why can't that just be something that's replicated and is taught in our schools and brought into our pre-Ks and everywhere? So I'm going to have some questions. And I'm going to see what I can do about that, because
I appreciate that very much.
It's a fascinating, absolutely educational and advocacy heavy curriculum for children. That's just say no to drugs.
That's right.
That empowers children, and I'll get it and I'll share it with you.
Yes, absolutely. It really should be mandated in every school. It should be a priority.
That's right.
And a news reporter for the Charlotte Observer did a story, and our foundation was involved in that story. And she reached out to CMS board and was told that they are focusing this year on alcohol and vaping, which I can't even wrap my head around. First of all, you've got how many days a school year? Give me or somebody like me 45 minutes to come into your school. My presentation includes vaping and alcohol, and there's no charge.
Yeah.
We're a 501c3. All I need is for you to bring the students in,
That's right.
sit them down, give me their attention, and I just don't get it. Like, let's save these kids' life. We lost 2 precious students in one school year to Huff High School, which was right here locally.
That's right.
And that's not counting the students, as Debbie's very much aware, that are headed down that path of addiction and eventually probably death, the way the drugs that are out there are. And quite frankly, parents of my generation or grandparents, like, at the end of the day, we all need to get that thinking back years ago, maybe a little testing the drugs or whatever wasn't harmful. You could get away with experimenting a tad bit. That's not the case today. And don't think that it's okay. Well, I've had parents tell me, well, my child's just smoking weed. That's okay. No, it's not. The THC levels, North Carolina's, it's not legal. It's not a vetted state. And the levels of THC that they're finding in the weed. And there was a young man that had left the hospital the day that Hunter was admitted. The nurses shared his story. He was at a party. He smoked some weed. Unbeknownst to him, it was cut with salt bath for no reason other than the young man survived, but he's severely brain damaged for the rest of his life. I mean, and I could, sadly, it would take us weeks of me sitting here to tell you the horrific stories I've heard and the heartbroken families who, like us, didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
So just...
Well, you just don't see it coming.
You don't. And it's so senseless. Again, I know I sound like a bragga mom, but Hunter was just this light. There was a young girl.
He still lights up your face.
People have told me that when they're talking to me, they see a light go on when I mention his name. And I know that.
You do.
I know that. He always had a compliment. There was a young girl that told me when she started college, she was 100 pounds overweight and very self-conscious about it. But she said every time Hunter met her or saw her, he made her feel like she was Miss America. And I'm just so proud of the young man that he was. And I'm just so angry that he's still not here to make a difference.
Of course you are.
Not ever at him, not ever at Hunter. Because this could have, like I said, happened to anybody.
This was preventable.
This was preventable. Just a little bit of knowledge. So we've got to get the word out there. Parents have to be really proactive, and there's resources.
Yeah.
NorthCarolina.gov has a lot on their website, and sadly, there are so many parents like us. There are way too many of these organizations that are trying to make a difference. So there are resources out there for parents, and I'm available. Even if you want a one-on-one, I'm available to talk to your child or to share my story. It could be not an audience of one, an audience of 5,000. I don't care. I just want people to know what can happen.
Saving one life at a time.
How would someone get in touch with you, Debbie?
On the website.
On the website.
Immediately, it goes right to me, and I answer as soon as I get something.
And that website again is?
thehdlife.org.
Okay. Awesome.
I hate that you have to do this, but I love the fact that you are doing it.
Yeah, you've turned your grief into action, and you're creating a legacy for your son who touched so many people's lives when he was here. He continues to be at work in what you're doing, and it's so admirable.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, of what you're doing, and Margi's right. There is a light about you that when you do speak his name, you're grinning right now.
I am. That's my boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know when I was in high school, to steal one of my parents' cigarettes and maybe puff 1-2 things on it, or a sip of sherry.
Yeah.
Was all we did. But look at what's available today. It's very scary.
It's a wicked, wicked world.
It is.
We'll be back shortly. You're listening to Community Centered with Margi Kyle and Debbie O'Hanley.
There's more Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on the way from 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, the water is still chilly, of course, but this kind of weather makes you ready for lake season, doesn't it? It'll be here soon enough. Continuing on our warmest week of the year so far as we continue warming up through the rest of the week. Overnight, a clear sky and a cool night on the way as we dip down into the low 40s. Outlying spots and farms may see upper 30s in a few spots. Warming into the mid-70s tomorrow, closer to 80 as we get into our Thursday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Happy St. Patty's Day! Plenty of fun and adventure happening around the entire area this weekend. Downtown Cornelius, downtown Mooresville, DeVos Day Vineyards in Troutman, and so much more. As always, we hope you have a fun and safe time celebrating. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts, Pottery for Teens, Paint, 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 Broadway Through the Ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Hey, coin collectors! This is your weekend too. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show at the Statesville Civic Center is this weekend, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. This Saturday, Eagle Rentals in Statesville is having their Customer Appreciation Day. Come out to Eagle Rentals from noon until 4 p.m. and enjoy some time that is sure to be fun for the whole family. 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day this Saturday. MerleFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Now, more community centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back. I'm here with Debbie Dalton, and I have one question for you as a parent myself. What would you tell parents today to do?
That's a really powerful question with several answers, and it would start with, first of all, do not wait to have this conversation with your children. Don't think it's a middle school or high school. You need to be age appropriate, but you also need to be specific. You can't just say no to drugs. You know, you have to come at your kids armed with information. You know, there's resources available, as I said.
Okay.
So come at them armed with information. And you know what? If they ask you a question that you don't have an answer to, look it up together. That's a really
that's a brilliant
bonding
idea.
thing. You have to get the information to them early. The second thing is for parents today, and I know you think about this for other scenarios, but you have to be so cautious about your children's devices and what they're accessing. It is so easy through social media. I just had the opportunity to be at a DEA summit. Atlanta, Georgia, North Carolina states were involved, and they were showing emojis that are on Facebook and social media that stand for drugs. And sadly, you know, one of the stories that they shared with us was a 12-year-old boy that had heard about this through a television program or movie or whatever and wanted to see what ecstasy was. And without his parents knowing, was able to maneuver social media and get this pill, which was supposed to be ecstasy, which he probably would have survived, but it was not. It was laced with fentanyl. So you have to be, you know, just guard them with love.
Yeah.
And have the knowledge yourself. You know, you can't share if you don't know.
That's right.
It's not the world that we grew up in. The drugs that are out there are so addictive. There's even fentanyl's not even the worst thing that's out there. That's what's so scary. There's cart fentanyl, which is an elephant tranquilizer. Was never intended for human consumption, and it's in drugs. They're finding it in drugs. So that would be my advice. You know, to really, I know that as a parent, there's so many things that you have to be worried about and also be on top of their sports, their grades, and it's overwhelming, and I get that. But it really kind of doesn't matter what college they get into if they're not alive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, and
or brain
most
dead.
importantly, I think that what I see a lot, because I have spoken to so many schools and parents, and certainly I get empathy, but I get an awful lot from parents that, if nothing else, the look, or even, quite frankly, the words, thank God I don't have to worry about that.
Mm.
And I hope you're right.
Yeah.
But don't think that you've got this straight A student, that's going to church and that's a loving child, that this can't happen to you, because that's exactly what happened to us.
Yeah.
Nobody is safe. It crosses all lines of demographic, all areas of education, and everybody's vulnerable.
And that is very scary.
It's scary. It is. You know, when at the end of the day, the HD life, we're here to educate, but part of our story also is live the HD life. Anytime that I speak with students, they all get an HD life bracelet at the end of, we hand them
I
out to
saw
everybody.
that.
Yeah. And it's a double reminder, live the HD life.
Yeah.
Tell your parents you love them every time you talk to them, because Hunter did, and that means so much.
It
And
does.
all these precious memories of love that I have. But also, it's a reminder to them, to, if something comes up, to make a good decision.
Well, and I like the fact that you and your husband are a team
We are so united now.
and working together.
He will not, he won't get up and speak,
That's okay.
but he's my rock.
That's right.
He's who I go home to, and we actually have our annual HD Life golf tournament coming up on March 25th.
Wonderful.
At Pine Island Country Club. They've been very gracious and have hosted us the last few years. And we do actually have a couple spots left, which you can find that on the website
Okay.
as well. But
If somebody wanted to make a donation too, just
the website.
the website.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. We are a 501c3 for
Okay.
sure. So, and that money, goes towards our educating and
That's right.
preventing.
Yeah.
That's predominantly what our foundation is focused on, is just, again, saving lives like our boy wanted
That's right.
On his bucket list.
on
Yeah.
his bucket list. Yeah, some of the stuff on his bucket. I told Randy, my husband, that we had to do everything on the bucket list, and the first one was bungee jumping. And he's like, "Peace out." No,
Yeah.
sorry, Hunter. There's
Yeah,
a couple
you
that
can
we'll do.
that. Yeah. I did see a picture of him doing that.
He was that was my adventure partner. It was me and him more than my husband. As a matter of fact, we were in Miami one time, and there was a hurricane machine. And we walked by it, and my husband goes, "What idiot would do that?" Me and Hunter standing there holding our tickets. We'd already bought them to go in. Like,
Well, it's like my daughter and her son. I called one day and I said, "Hey," talking to her husband, and he said, "Mitzi's not here. She's out jumping out of an airplane with Brandon." I
yeah,
went, what?
yeah, that was Hunter. There wasn't a door we didn't want to go through.
Yeah.
We went to the Grand Canyon. We sat on the edge. Randy sat in the car and waved. But we were a team. We were the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
We traveled,
Yeah.
and he had a really, really close relationship with his dad as well.
I can see that on the website.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were very close. We miss him dearly. This is
Oh.
his birthday month. He would have been 31 on Saturday, and his friends are a lifeline to us.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about what a
Yeah.
difference that makes if
Mhm.
you're somebody that's in a bad place, and would like to publicly thank them for any of them that are listening. I mean,
Yeah.
they all reach out to us. They remember Mother's Day and Christmas, and know those really hard days like his birthday. So that's extra special
Oh,
too.
that is.
I think that's important, Debbie, for people to know and understand, because a lot of times when folks go through something like this, they feel very awkward and they don't know what would be comforting to you.
Yes.
Yes.
So having people reach out, ask those questions,
right.
honor him, talk about his birthday, talk about those holidays, I think is significantly important.
It is.
Well, and to be honest with you, I kind of had to take the lead myself with some of that. My best friend, I mean, we cheered together in college. She watched Hunter grow up. I had to kind of sit her down and say, "It's okay for
Yeah.
me to cry." She wanted to fix me.
You can't.
And I'm like, "You can't fix me. I'm going to cry every single day of my life.
Yeah.
I have. But I'm also going to celebrate Hunter." But, she'd gotten to where I felt like she was sort of walking on eggshells. And I once I had that honest you could almost see the relief on her.
Yeah.
Like she was being overly protective.
Yeah.
And I had to say, no, I'd rather me and you be having a conversation and I start crying about Hunter, then we act like he never existed.
Yeah.
So
Well,
important.
I am looking forward to writing this article for LK
Oh, thank
and
you so
Connect,
much.
because the more people that know about this,
Absolutely.
the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's also springtime, right? So time to reset and rebuild and to be made aware. And summertime's coming, more active, more kids out there doing things that are living on the edge, and they need to be. The children need to be made aware of what
Summer
this is.
vacation, spring break.
Yes.
And again, it's not. I remember somebody saying, "Well, my kid is not a follower." Mine certainly wasn't. He was a leader.
That's right.
But it's not even that there's that kind of dark reason that they do it. They're curious. It's partying. A lot of us as adults have a drink to socialize, and that unfortunately had gotten to be the norm with young people. The drugs, because again, mistakenly, that word, which I wish was eradicated, recreational drugs, which does not exist anymore. But even that has a connotation that it's okay to have a party and smoke a little weed.
As long as you're doing it recreationally.
Right, which is, again, I mean, but that's the mentality.
Yeah.
Don't, again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I feel like it bears repeating to parents. Like, you're not going to necessarily see a sign that your child has tried a drug.
That's
Or
right.
is thinking about trying a drug.
Right.
I spoke at a rural area school, and I got a letter from the superintendent of that school system that his daughter was in the audience that day. And that night at dinner, he said he was floored. His daughter told him that she had used Xanax a couple of times. He had no idea. Would have never thought that about his daughter. And, it just almost, he said, brought him to his knees to know that that could have been his daughter.
That's right.
For just a little pill. And
It
the thing,
could be anybody.
it's 1 second, one decision, and no second chance.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't
Game
take
over.
it back.
And parents tell your kids, like, when they start driving, there's no way they're going to go down I-77 the wrong way, going 70 miles an hour. That sounds like the most ludicrous thing in the world, but that's what they're doing if they try drugs.
Yeah.
In today's world, in today's culture.
Living on the edge.
Yeah, without even meaning to,
No.
sadly.
Yeah, very sadly.
Yeah.
What's one message, Debbie, you want our listeners to know? We've learned so much today about you and your son and the legacy he's left behind, but what do you think is the most important takeaway from today?
Well, besides the educational piece, I think the love. I think it's a beautiful love story that Hunter left us with.
I agree.
And hey, let it be a reminder to everybody to hug your kids a little extra tighter.
Yeah.
Cherish those, make memories. I'm so grateful that we traveled and that we did, quite honestly, sometimes when we shouldn't have and couldn't have afforded it.
Right.
But we made these special memories, and
Yeah.
I'm so blessed for them. So I think that's it. Just think about the love.
You lived a lifetime in his short life.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
truly did. And I want to thank you for sharing, for educating us, for advocating. I mean, I think you're fascinating, and I think we need to hear more and help you get the word out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, WSIC and Marg and Debbie.
Yeah.
You guys have been so welcoming, and I really appreciate it.
I think it's a really important message we need to let our community know, and that's what Community Centered is all about.
It
is informing our community of things that you might not have heard of. So we try to put hope in the headline with a smile, and you know what? Even though this has been a hard story to hear, I'm still smiling. I'm smiling because of the legacy and what you're doing for our community. So thank you for that.